When drawing the human form, and we talk about simplifying the human form before you start adding anatomy and things like that, you are trying to develop with your practice your memory, hand memory, so that you're drawing things consistently and proportionately each and every time. And so to create mannequin shapes, they are based off of basic shapes. So cylinders, excuse me, tapered cylinders at that. So it means that tapered means that it's wider at one end and it gets narrow at the other end. And so we use tapered cylinders when we're creating necks, when we're creating the biceps, forearms, your thighs, and shins and calves. And again, keeping in mind these are what we use to build the basic mannequin forms that anatomy then goes on top of. We also have spheres, and spheres or circles are used to draw the head without the chin, as you'll see in a second. When we draw the chin, it winds up taking on this kind of like an egg shape, if you will. Heads, but these also represent a lot of joints on the body. So elbow joints, wrist joints, knee joints, shoulders, and your ankles. The chest can sometimes be an egg shape. I've seen them in square shaped as well. In the end, the chest we use to indicate where things start it's your torso, so it's where things start plugging in at. So, the top half of the chest is going to be where your pectoralis is, and then the bottom half is going to be your stomachs and your abs, and then it starts going into the hips. And then finally, we use squares, and the squares are sometimes tapered. And I've also, for when you get more experience with drawing, they usually don't represent this point here, depending if it's a left hand or a right hand. It could be this point here. They tend to go in a little bit, so it becomes this really kind of weird shape. It goes in because it indicates where the thumb is going to go. So we tend to use these shapes for our hands and for our feet. So we got to understand that basic mannequin shapes are going to want to help us understand proportions and understand where the anatomy is going to go, so that our figures look correct and proportionate.